Been spending some time in the last little while reflecting on our identity, what it means to be children of God, and really living into that. Now, my wife and I are spending some time on the west coast of Vancouver Island, Tofino, Ucluelet. A chance to get away. It's been so wonderful. As I've reflected on identity and what it means to follow God, it's always amazed me that I get to be called a child of God, that He is the one who invites me in and gives me a new identity. All the wounds that get healed in the midst of that, all of the doubts that become so clear. I spend a lot of time walking, sometimes in the rain because it is the wet coast, and that has just led me to reflect on the power of the water and the waves. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, there's animals and sounds, and it's just uh, tranquility. But at the same time, if you watch those waves come in, you can see the power that's in them. They don't care who you are. They don't care what's going on in and around you. They are doing their own thing. That led me to Exodus 3, where Moses is standing in front of God in the burning bush and invited into that process. Who am I supposed to say that you are? And God's response in the midst of that is fascinating. I am who I am. See, sometimes I think we make God to be who we want Him to be. We want Him to be the genie. We want Him to be a political force for us. We want Him to go to war for us. And then the reality is, God is who He is. He will do what He does in His own ways when He wants to. And that is really difficult if we don't have our own identity, if we don't have the pieces that He's invited us into as His children, as people who can walk with Him, who are loved by Him. All of that frames exactly who God is. With Him is power and weight and beautiful things that come in the midst of that. But God can also crush us. And sometimes we forget who God is. We jump into waters that we have no business being in, and we try and make Him into something that He is not. And then when we get spit out on the other side, we go, why does God not love me? And the reality is He does love us. There are warning signs all along the way to guide us. And when we ignore them, when we try and make Him into something that we're not, or that He's not, sometimes we get pushed up against those rocks. Is God just a universal force that's looking out? Is God something that we can harness and control through tarot cards or forms of prayer? No. He is who He is. This is the God who came back for Israel, who set them free through 10 awful plagues, who parted the Red Sea, who led them across. This is the God who embodied Himself in Jesus and died on a cross, which is insanity, just so that we could be in relationship with Him. It's the God who wants to be in relationship with you. That means maybe there's some things that you need to let die. Maybe that's some wounds from the past. Maybe that's church wounds that have come in. Maybe that's theology that is driving you to try and control who He is. When in reality, God is a wave rolling in. He is who He is, and my thoughts do not control Him. And that is both terrifying and comforting, because it means that I have to pay attention to His rhythms, and that when I find them, when I'm in those rhythms, God is so good. You can catch that wave and you can ride it all the way in, and it is a feeling unlike any other. That's my hope for you. A chance to reflect, to stop, to say, God, where are the things that I've believed about You, that I do believe about You, that are just not right anymore? To lay them down, to start to pay attention to the rhythms of the ocean and the waves and of God, to discover that He is exactly who He says He is, and allow Him to define exactly who He is for you. And in that, then we can catch that wave. It's a beautiful thing. God bless you.